All right, Scott here, K4MDI. A few of you have asked over the last little while if I would kind of show you how that I do my streaming and also my videos. I use what most streamers use, and that's OBS. Of course, so with OBS, you can do a lot of different things. You can bring in cameras and video cards and monitors, whatever's on your monitors. You can show that in your OBS. So it's kind of difficult to show OBS when you're actually doing a recording, just because I'll show you kind of here. If I bring my OBS screen over to the monitor, notice that it goes all the way as far as you can see. So kind of dives into that screen on screen on screen. So anyway, this is actually a picture of my monitors. I've got two 24-inch monitors here on the bottom. Then I believe this top monitor here is, I think it's maybe a 40, maybe it may be 42 inch. I think it's a 42-inch monitor. And I've got three monitors connected to the computer here, and I can switch between any of these. This is kind of the way that I run my stream when I'm running it. Notice the top monitor here has my stream dashboard, and of course when I'm actually in my stream dashboard configuration in OBS, this top monitor here, you can only see certain things. If you notice, let's see if I go back to, this is uh, what my OBS name screen. This is what my OBS looks like. I'm actually doing a stream. You notice that my logbook is here, power master meter, my rotor control, and then my 7610 display. And then, of course, the camera caught me taking a picture of everything yesterday. This is what you're seeing online. What I'm seeing here is this screen. I've got my logbook up on the right screen, and I can enter in QSOs in here, and of course it's displaying up on the stream. Now in OBS, you can look up videos on OBS for sure. Find all kinds of ways to do different things. I'm capturing the streaming dashboard by using, I believe it's a window capture. So it's actually a window within Windows that's capturing that whatever's in that window. Same thing with the logbook. I've got certain parts of it cut out, so all you're seeing in the actual stream here is the call signs. Whenever we're typed in and the enter button's pressed. So anyway, that's how that I'm doing it here. Of course, I've got studio speakers here. I've got a light that's shining a little bit more light to make the image on the camera look a little bit better. If you go back here, this is actually my desk, okay? So for pictures of my desk, 7610, my ARC tube preamp, my headset's connected to, and I'm going to show you a diagram of all this in just a few minutes. The D700, this radio's about 20 years old or longer, I guess. Maybe it might be close to 25 years old in my possession. So, of course, it's got APRS and PNC built into it. And I'll show you a little later what I do with that. Camera, of course, and I move this around. I've got it moved around just a little bit today. Studio speakers. A few close-up shots of the actual desk here. This is to the left of me. And all of this is fit into a small area, only about, I think it's 56 inches maybe, between the, or table end to table end, desk end to desk end. And I did build this, okay? I'm not a carpenter by no means, but I can build some things and put some things together. So I did all this with the desk and stained it and else. So here is the Connect Systems 800D. I have one of these here. I have one in the car or the 4Runner and also in the truck. I've got the D700 below this. I've got a signal link for the D700. Show you a little bit about that here in just a few minutes. Of course, I've got the PC. This is all to the left of me. This, of course, the left. Got my voice over IP phone. I've got my work calls coming into here. Also have my Ham Shack hotline set up here, and the D700 right here on the desk. Okay, underneath the 7610, I've got the amplifier here. I have a better picture of this. Okay, so underneath the 7610, I've got a meter for my 2-meter 440 antenna. I have a Power Master meter down here, which of course connects via serial USB to the stream, so you can see what power I'm running on the live stream. Of course, this is my AL80B right under that. Underneath the AL80B is my rotor control. So I purchased this from WB4TWX, later W4TWX. He's a silent key now. It's one of our Elmers around here. I purchased this from him. Of course, he'd put his call sign on it. And right underneath the rotor control, of course, the rotor control, I actually have it connected to a older, it's probably 20 years old, but it's an EA4TX LPT port control. I'll show you about that in just the iplus is by W2IHY, and right now it's in number 2 position, which that is my VHF UHF radio. One position is my 7610. And what this allows me to do is to be able to use the same microphone with the both radios, actually up to 3 radios on this particular unit. I believe it's expandable up to 5 radios. If you purchase another one, he's got a way that you can connect them together and use one mic for 5 radios. Now, you don't have to use one of these. The iplus W2IHY, there is actual audio ground loop isolators built into all this. So, but you can build your own, and you could use a mixer. One of the reasons I purchased the iplus from W2IHY was because it would fit into my small setting here, and that's the reason that I purchased it. I may change later on, but for now, this is working pretty good for me. One other thing I'd like to point out before I go to the block diagram is this audio mixer. This is just a line level mixer. It is a Rollins, I believe it's a MX51S. It's 4 inputs and 1 output on the back, and also I've got a headphone output on the front. Now I send the same mix out of this to my studio speakers as well as my headphone. If I don't want the studio speakers on at the time, I will just cut the studio speakers off. There's a switch up on the left of me here on the studio speakers. I don't think, yeah, right here, there's a switch here that I can flip off if I don't want audio from the radios coming back into my studio speaker. Real simple, not a lot to it. Okay, so here's the block diagram. This is where it all starts out at. The let's see, again, maybe you can see this. Starts up here with the Yamaha CM500 headset. Okay, then goes into a Rode VXLR Plus, which is a adapter that converts 48 volt to 3 to 5 volts. A 48 volt is your phantom power for most of your studio type mics. The CM500 headset comes with a little battery pack. So I'm not using the battery pack. If you want to hook the CM500 mic directly into the Icom 7300 or the 7610, it's easy to do. No need for the battery pack or any other kind of power. The reason that I'm using this, the Art Tube MP preamp, it's got 48 volt phantom power, so I'm using the VXLR to step that down for the microphone. The reason I use the Tube MP preamp is because that I can come out XLR and go directly into the W2 IHY plus, iplus. I can also come out of it over USB and go back to my PC. So this way, anything that's in my microphone right here will be going into the W2 IHY iplus and also into the PC. So right now I'm recording right off of the Tube MP right here in the microphone. But if I was to reach down here and hit my PTT button, whichever radio selection, back here for just a second, whichever radio this is selected to, right now it's on the 2-meter 440. If I reach down here underneath the desk and hit the a PTT, then this, whatever I'm talking about right now, is going to go out on VHF and UHF. All right, if I'm in the one position, whenever I hit the PTT, it's going to actually go out on the 7610. So this controls where my PTT is and also where my microphone is going. You can also connect it up to your headset so that when you select number 1 or number 2 or number 3, you're only going to get audio from that particular radio. Well, I'm not using that part of the iPlus. I'm not using any of that at all. I'm actually coming out of the radios. If you notice, out of the Icom 7610, the headphone goes to input number 1 of the Rolls MX or MX51S, the Kenwood D700, and later I'm going to probably change this D700 out with a Icom 9700. I haven't done that yet. That's still on the Christmas wish list. But if I come out of the headphones of the D700, it has to go through a ground loop isolator. Got a very bad ground loop, so had to homebrew a ground loop isolator, and goes into a RCA-Y splitter, which I run it directly into the input number 2 here of the audio mixer, and I reach up and control those volumes to studio speakers and also my headset, so I could actually be listening to VHF, UHF, and transmitting on HF or talking on my YouTube live stream. And you not actually hear that. Then I'm split here, so the D700 is split and also goes to the mic jack of a cheap USB sound card. Of course, this is connected by USB to the computer. The reason I use this is so that I can, you'll remember, if we go back to the image here of the OBS, I have at the bottom here VHF, UHF, okay? That's coming from a cheap USB sound card interface. Of course, I've got the Tube MP, which is what I'm talking to you off of right now. And I have the 7610, which is direct USB. So of course your 7610 or your 7300 or whatever's got the USB sound card output. Of course, you can see my block diagram from the USB over and up to the PC. Okay, so that's how I separate all the audio here. It can be done with a mixer, but of course I don't have the room really for a big mixer here on the desk, so I come up with all this to eliminate that. Out of the cheap USB sound card, I can also feed the output. I had to use a ground loop oscillator again. There was a lot of noise and hum to input 3. So on the 4-channel mixer, I have the 7610's headphone, I have the D700's headphone out, and I have the computer headphone out. That way I can use my headset for any of my webinars or WebEx or Zoom or whatever. If I have some kind of business call that I need to take and need to be on the camera, I can also use it for that as well. The 7610, there's a DVI out on the back of it, so you could hook it to a monitor. You've seen lots of pictures of that on the web. I'm actually feeding that into well, it first goes into a DVI to HDMI. So I'm changing. I wish that Icom would have put a HDMI on the radio, but they put a DVI. I'm just using a DVI to HDMI converter. And then from that, it goes into the Mirrorbox 4K capture card. Mirrorbox is cheap, it's 35, 40 bucks. And of course, it's USB into the PC as well. And I can select that in OSB. I mean, not OSB, but yeah, OBS. All right. USB, OSB, OBS, all these things run together sometimes. Out of the output of the 4-channel audio mixer, I'm going into my studio speakers and also into my headphones that I'm wearing right now. So that's kind of how it all is done here. Now, out of the Kenwood D700, I also I use WinLink, Vera. Of course, I do it on HF through the built-in sound card interface, but the local 2-meter Vera, when I want to connect to that node, I use a signal link. Probably saw that in one of the pictures here just a few minutes ago, is the signal link. It's kind of stuck in there behind all those cables, okay? And there's some cables here that don't belong. I've just got some cables through there. But that's signal links. I'm leaving the data jack of the Kenwood D700 going into the signal link audio interface here, and then of course it's USB back to the PC, so I can fire up WinLink Vera and drop messages the local Vera node, or do radio to radio direct messages on Vera. The D700 has a built-in TNC. I mentioned that earlier, and I don't have it on the block diagram, but I also have a serial to USB interface between the D700 and the computer. I've got a ton of USB plugged in, and I didn't put it on the block diagram here. I just ran it all to the PC, but there is actually underneath the amplifier over here behind. I believe it's down here behind the W2IHY. I've got a trip-light metal shielded USB hub. I think it's a 4 or 5 port hub, and you can get them off of Amazon pretty cheap, like 40 bucks. But it's everything shielded. I don't have any problem with RFI here, which is kind of amazing. But I do have everything grounded in multiple places. All my grounds here at my shack and tower are all tied together. Service grounds, even out to a building, which used to be the shack. Just work on stuff out there now and keep a bunch of junk. But all of my grounds here are connected together. So I don't have any problems with RFI, but I didn't want that to be an issue, so I'm using everything shielded as far as USB cables. I didn't just use a cheap $10 USB hub. I used trip light metal shielded, it's a metal case and it's shielded really well. So anyway, that's a lot of my USB stuff on the right side of the desk is plugged into that, and then it runs over to the computer on the left side of the desk. I also just wanted to show that HF a Power Master meter. It's not the Power Master 2. It's a just the Power Master. It has a serial output on it. Of course, it's connected to USB to the computer. And then my EA4TX LPT rotor control is connected to the LPT port. And yes, I had to install a LPT port to get that to work, but hey, it saved me $300 or $400 from buying a new EA4TX rotor control box. So I like to do everything as cheap as I can. Also going to bring up, let me take and go out of the full screen here. So the EA4TX rotor control, it is actually it's connected to the LPT port to this program right here. I believe it is ARVCOM is what the name of the program is. And this will create a virtual COM port so that I can actually control it from within Ham Radio Deluxe. That's what I use for rig control. Let's see if I can bring up a rig control here. Radio Deluxe. So I use HRD. Of course, when it loads up here, comes up and asks me about the 7610. I say yes to that. Of course, you just heard the audio pop up. I'm going to mute that in OBS so you're not hearing it. I'm going to reach up to my audio mixer, turn down the audio so I'm not hearing it in my headphones. Okay? You're not hearing it, and I'm not hearing it neither. This is Ham Radio Deluxe. Of course, I use the rotor control program, which is right now wall monitor. Hit it, back. Okay, right now you notice that the rotor is pointed due south. Well, that's because the rotor control box is not on. If you see some of my other videos, you'll notice that I actually use Node-RED for some control. I built some Arduino type interfaces to Node-RED. I enjoy fooling around with the Node-RED. I'll pull that up here. I go to my remote control. Okay, this also see where the rotor's pointed. Well, right now the rotor control is off, so it's showing that it's pointed south. I'm going to click this button here. It says rotor and meters. Turn it on. Notice right away the rotor pointed towards Europe. Okay. And how this is actually just a connection through Node-RED to this rotor control program right here. Actually, no, let me back up. So the ARVCOM software here, okay, this is actually connected to the LPT port, and it's created a virtual COM port and a telnet session. So HRD is connected to COM port 10, which is a virtual COM port from this interface here. Happens. Okay. All right, so this has got a virtual COM port that it's putting out, which is COM port 10, and HRD is looking at COM port 10. Of course, you see that the beam is pointing towards Europe here. All right, and then just playing around with Node-RED a little bit. Node-RED is looking at a telnet session from the AR VCOM's software here, and I believe I'm telling you right. Let me just look and see. Yep, ARS VCOM. So it creates a virtual COM port, and of course, if you don't have an EA4TX older LPT port style rotor control, then this isn't going to matter to you. You can buy newer EA4TX equipment that will connect via USB, and some of this you can do away with. But listen, I'm a cheapskate, and I like to do things on a budget, and so that's what you have here. Of course, I have my rotor, or not rotor, but my antenna switch here. If my HRD is up, which it is right now, and I'm on 7153, if I switch back to this is going to look kind of weird here because everything's not up like it would be on a live stream. Um, it's almost dangerous to push this button here. If I can bring up out, I can do. Just show you. No, that's not going to work neither. HRD. Okay, so 7153. And that is exactly what the 7610 is set on right now, 7153. Node Red is reading that, 7153. If I click on antenna auto selection, okay, it's going to automatically pick which antenna that I need to be on. Okay, if I reach over here to the radio, which you're going to see this VFOA change, if I reach over here and I click 20 meters, see it changed up here, 14250. It automatically changed my antenna. All right, if I switch to 75 meters, switch it back to the dipole. I go to 6 meters, switch it to the 6-meter beam, go to 160, switch it to the 160 meter inverted L that I have up. Of course, if I'm on 20, if I'm on 15, it all stays the same because I have a tri-bander. Now, I know that this doesn't work when you have multiple bands, multiple antennas, right? So there's a way to fix that. If I want to switch between something else, I just turn that auto selection off. I can go to 6 meters and be on the, and you wouldn't want to do this, right? But I can be on 28340 and use the 6-meter beam, or I can be on the 75-meter dipole and be on here. So I can automatically, or I can manually switch antennas as well. So this is all done through Node Red, and I'm just going to give you just a brief look at Node Red here just a second. I've showed you on some of my other videos, but this is my Node Red flows that I'm doing all this with. A QSO dashboard. Of course, a lot of this is copied and pasted from a lot of the other Node Red forums and things to help me get through this and figure some of it out. But once you kind of get a hang of it, you can fool around with it and do all kinds of stuff. I mean, my weather flows. This is how you see my weather on the dashboards. Back to my roll where it shows my temperature. That seen it just minutes ago. Here it is. Well, it's not showing on the other, but this is how it comes from my weather station through. I use WeWX, which is my Davis weather station. And it just parses all this data. Band conditions, I'm not really using that right now. System, this is my system monitor. If I go to system monitor, it's my Raspberry Pi that's hosting the Node Red. Okay. If I go to host monitor, this is what's looking at these pings here. So I'm pinging this ESP32 controller, which is actually my antenna switch. The internet, of course, this is from a Raspberry Pi that's on Wi-Fi, so of course this is going to be a little latency at times. My HRD PC, because of course, whenever I'm HRD, Node Red is pulling from HRD here. This is my HRD flow to get the frequency, right? My control flow, this is my antenna switch. You've probably seen this on one of my other videos, but this is how I make the antenna switch work. Okay, pretty cool. All right, my rotor is of course a copy from someone else's flow, but it works. Took it from different type of rotor and modified it to work with mine. I've got a solar system here. If I go back to Node Red, I also use my, this isn't power my radios or anything, but this is kind of a test, and got a couple panels and battery, and it actually keeps my weather station up and going, all on solar power. But this is my solar system connected to it. Notice that odd, something's offline here. I don't know the reason for that. I need to check that out. But showing you my my PV voltage and my current. Should be showing my usage over here, and I don't know why this is. Maybe need to check that out. But that's this flow here, solar monitor. This is getting it off of a serial USB and into the Raspberry Pi that's at the weather station, and doing a lot of stuff with that. So anyway, a lot to this. This is kind of scattered, I know. There's really a lot into it, but I'll try to post the actual block diagram to this video, so you can download it, look at it if you'd like. Lot here. Of course, power supplies for these radios are put on the back of this desk. It's mounted to the back of the desk here, out of the way. It stays running 24/7. Maybe I'll get into my grounding and all of my boxes that go from the tower to the jack here. I'm pretty OCD about a lot of this stuff, and try to keep it all clean and neat, even though you noticed the dust in the pictures before. And that's from time to time I've got to take the vac and open everything up and make sure all the dust doesn't accumulate and cause any problems. So anyway, that's a little video. Hope you've enjoyed the walkthrough. It's not completely everything that I use to stream. Of course, the OBS does most of it here on the computer screen. All kinds of scenes you can set up, make it all happen. And that's what we're doing. Hope you enjoy the video. I hope you will continue to visit here. Maybe if you haven't done so yet, maybe subscribe to my videos. I'm not on here all the time. I haven't done a live on the air QSO video in probably 2 months. So it's about time for one of those, maybe on a Sunday night or Friday night or something that I don't have anything else going. I'll jump on here and try to make some QSOs and put some of you on the air that I talked to on HF. All right, I'll say 7-3 for now, and thanks for watching.